fellow Americans. It's a new year and I'm trying to get some new content out there. I haven't really been doing a lot of philosophical and sociological stuff, which is probably my favorite stuff to do here. So I'm going to kind of get in that for a little bit. One of the things I do, give you a little bit of insight into my actual life when I'm not making these YouTube videos, which is like a microscopic portion of my free time, is that I'm a professional writer. You know, I do a lot of articles for all sorts of publications, all across the board, multimedia, press release stuff, actual journalism. So I'm pretty, well versed in kind of what's going out there socioculturally. And one of the things that I'm working on, that I've been working on for a couple of weeks now, is a fairly lengthy article about social media practices in the modern era. Particularly some of the youth demographic trends going on about how they're using it. And basically, from my research, what I've kind of uncovered, and I want to apply this directly to YouTube a little bit later on, is that a lot of some of the younger users, like the guys who are in high school now or starting off as college freshmen, they have completely abandoned some of the old guard of social media. They've given up on Facebook. Google Plus is just an ancient memory. A lot of them aren't even using Twitter anymore. And one of the things that strikes me, it's kind of a twofold thing as far as the phenomenon occurring here, is about half of them have switched over to platforms like Snapchat and Tumblr, where what makes it interesting is that while something like Facebook or Twitter is about building yourself as a brand, it's about getting yourself out there and creating some sort of core identity and kind of broadcasting yourself to the masses. When you look at something like Snapchat and you look at something like Tumblr, any of these other platforms, instead of becoming a person, someone who's out there sharing an idea or an opinion, you basically become a content aggregator. And also, and this is something you're seeing probably more in the YouTube and Reddit communities, you're also seeing people kind of become individuated. And basically what I mean by that is they're not really trying to be a person, they're not presenting themselves as John Smith, a human being, who uploads videos or uploads stuff to Reddit. They're kind of seeing themselves as these disembodied concepts, these people who are not themselves, who are basically kind of going out there and, saying whatever they want, just being sort of a human ghost in a way as far as their social media practices go. And I think this is most evident on YouTube, because YouTube is just a festering bin of absolute absurdity. I mean, for every, one constructive ounce of criticism you get, you're guaranteed to get at least 5 or 10 just absolutely absurd, borderline discriminatory, borderline harassment, just troll spam comments. Now, what I've noticed about YouTube, and obviously it's the domain of the most vitriolic comments. You're going to get just the most harshest, absurd, comments and criticism you're going to get anywhere. Hardly ever constructive. Usually it's people just saying racial slurs or ethnic slurs, or basically just calling you everything in the name. Sometimes, they try to swat you. They'll flag videos. They do all these really underhanded practices. On Reddit, they'll vote you down. So basically, it kind of becomes a tyranny of the majority, where you're special interest groups and you're just out there regurgitating your own platform over and over again with no real individual thought. And it's an election year, so you're going to be seeing a whole lot more of that. But what I've noticed, particularly in YouTube as of late, is how many people are on it who are completely de-individualized. They don't go by their own name. They don't try to promote themselves as a human being. They're just running around commenting on things they don't like that goes against their core ideology. And they spend the rest of the day just voting up or voting down or whatever the things that promote their big cause of suing. So, if they're a big fan of, Bernie Sanders, and they're running around upvoting Bernie Sanders videos all day and just constantly attacking his opponents. Or if they're a libertarian, or a conspiracy theorist, or a gun proponent, whatever. That's what they do all day. And the interesting thing I've noticed, especially in YouTube, and I keep going back to this, is that even though YouTube is a platform for production, it's about self-media, what I've noticed is, some of the most ardent commenters, the guys that come out and say the most outlandish things, the guys that are most vocal about being defenders of the faith, these are people who don't actually make their own videos. activity. They just use it to run around, running their mouths. So they're not actually being active users. They're just being people who come in like barbarians and just hacking stuff and supporting what they support and destroying what they don't support. And the thing about that is, it's a very immature sort of mentality. Where that is, if you're an adult, basically if you encounter something you don't like, as long as it's not like a felony, you just kind of say, well, I disagree with that, and keep walking because you're an adult. And I think what YouTube does, and Reddit, and all these social media platforms that encourage anonymity, where you're not a person, but you're just an individualized user with a certain level of perceived autonomy and anonymity, is that it kind of goads you into acting like you're in junior high, to where you want to pick fights with people, you want to call people names, and if you go out and you do that in real life, you walk up to somebody in a club or at a McDonald's or whatever, and you say, hey, you're an idiot, I think you're a piece of crap, I want to challenge you to a fight, well, you just committed a crime, that's called assault. But the thing is, these people generally are very unhappy with their own lives, they feel disempowered, they feel silenced, they're not able to go out and do this stuff in real life, which I think is pretty much a big problem unto itself. Kind of concerning that you have people with that much anger and resentment and hostility directed towards people and causes, just in general. But through the internet, they can go out and do that stuff. They can be big, proud, happy people, cloaked under anonymity, to go out and say all this outlandish stuff that they really don't have the guts to do in real life. And that's kind of just sort of the modus operandi, I think, of YouTube and Reddit and all these other social media platforms that really revolve around anonymity. It just gives people an opportunity to shout their mouths off when they're deep down, they're just cowards. They're out there being aggressive and saying all these very abrasive things, but deep down, they just don't have the guts to go out there and do it in real life. Which is why you go to the internet and just be a complete clown and jerkwad and just enjoy yourself and revel in your own immaturity. Now, for me, I don't really comment on other people's videos. I just upload my own stuff. I don't follow anybody. I'm a producer. I believe in the Bavarian Protestant work ethic, where you just put stuff out there. And for me, YouTube, I've said it before, it's a scrapbook. It's about my life. It's about the things I encounter. It's about capturing, the zeitgeist of the times. It's about kind of having something to hold on to, because I think YouTube's going to be around for another 10, 20, 15 years. And one day I'm going to be an old man. I'm able to kind of download all these things on a single, memory card and just watch them, like home movies. That's basically what I think YouTube is. It's a way to kind of collect time and kind of hold on to these things. So for me, it's all about the production, and I really don't comment on people's videos. I could care less what people do. I never go over to other people's videos and, flag them down. I really only comment when people comment on mine. But looking at YouTube and Reddit, especially Reddit, because it's all about content aggregation, it's not about people making their own product anymore. It's not about them making videos or writing articles or creating blogs or doing anything anymore. It's just about simply commenting. It's about deconstructing. It's about being demoralizing to others. It's about not actually doing anything with your own life, just being, a jerkwad to other people. And I'm not really sure if there's a solution set to this. I mean, they got spam filters which edit out the really egregious comments. I think that helps to some capacity. But I think at the end of the day, the problem with all this stuff is the anonymity. I mean, if you hold people accountable, if you had people's comments linked to their Facebook, to where they had to actually say this stuff, not as some ghost, as some figure who does not tangibly exist, who's just a little cartoon image, and they actually had to stand by their word next to their own real name, and the rest of society could see it, they'd probably think twice about it. But they don't, and they just act cartoony, and they act childish, and they're immature, and they're a bunch of keyboard warriors, and they're really sad people. I mean, deep down, if you spend all day flagging other people's videos and voting thumbs down on things that disagree with your core ideology, you're a loser. I mean, point blank, I got my own life. I upload videos, I go to work, I hang out with my loved ones, play with puppies, I enjoy my life, and I just have these to remind me that I've had a pretty good ride so far. And for all of the people out there who are just criticizing people and calling them horrendous names and just urinating on other people's visions and dreams, you know what? They'll keep doing that. And producers out there, people actually making vlogs, producing videos, and actually being constructive with their time and their social media platforms and websites, we're going to keep on having a great life. But they say, troll's gonna troll, and normal people are gonna continue to live happy, normal existences outside of the glow of the computer screen, which is really the only sort of safety these people have. They don't have a life outside the internet. They don't have a life outside of Reddit. They don't really have a life outside of YouTube, and it's just their way of making themselves feel better, but it really doesn't. And everybody else, just enjoy your life. Let the haters hate, and just go on doing what you do, which is being happy, unlike the rest of those clods.